Hey guys, if you know me, you've watched my videos, you've read my blog post, then you know a little bit about me. If you're an email subscriber, I do tell my story of what brought me here, and maybe I'll add that stuff to my blog post at some point. But one of the things you probably learned about me is that I had been living without hot water in my home for a year and a half. And I wanted to tell you the story of what all that is and why that turned out to be why that happened. Lost my job in September of 2012 and did not expect it. However, things at my job did go wrong 5 months before that time, but I was trying to be prepared. That's when I started working from home. So I'd work at the job for 8 hours and then I'd work from home for 8 hours. I could never get past making part time pay. At one point, things were looking good. I was excited. All I needed was to earn a little bit more money for full time pay. I was getting excited. I thought, oh, I'll be out of this job soon. It didn't happen. Then, September, they let me go because of sabotage caused by my now former best friend. I don't want to repeat that story again because I'm quite honestly sick of telling it, but I have videos about it. Look at my video called Dream Bigger and or Dream Big, I believe it's called, the Mike Burke story, and I tell the story in that video, so you'll be able to hear it there. Anyways, about a month after I lost my job, I ran out of oil, or so I thought, and I couldn't afford to buy it. I had just lost my job, and I didn't know what to do, so I had to start living with cold water. Well, my father, who I haven't been that close to since I was a kid, due to other circumstances that I'm not going to get into, heard about what happened, and he said, "Well, you know what? I need to redo my basement. I want to paint it. I want to redo the floors. I'll hire you. I can pay you $500, and if you're willing to do the work." And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I was impressed with that. I thought, wow, here he is. He steps up when I'm in trouble here, and that's great. At this point in time, I had not discovered this marketing business yet. I did have my Etsy shop, and I started working with Fiverr, but that was about it. And because I was so new at it, I wasn't making that much money with that. Like I said, part-time pay. I wasn't as stressed out at that time as eventually I would be because I was getting severance pay. And I was getting, well, I was eligible for unemployment once that ran out. So I had some time before I had to really start worrying. But my thought was in that time I would figure out how to become successful working from home, and then I could just get off unemployment and support myself 100%. All right, anyways. I painted the basement. He paid me. I immediately called for oil. I had them deliver it. I started up my hot water boiler. It worked for an hour, and then it crapped out. So I had to call a cleaning guy. Now I have to go spend money I don't have. I call the cleaning guy. He comes, he cleans it. Thing works for about a week. Craps out again. Call the cleaning guy again. Now you would think because the cleaning guy didn't do a good job the first time, the second time he would give me a discount, and he knew I lost my job. No, he charges me again. And he goes, "Oh yeah, it got all clogged up. It was dirty again." Well, why was it dirty? You cleaned it last time, didn't you? Anyways, it worked again for another week, and it crapped out. This time I wasn't calling the guy again. I just could not afford it. Now we are in the month of December, and when in 2012 and 2013, where I live, not good winters. Very cold, super cold, enormous snowstorms. As a matter of fact, in 2013, when was this? February, I think? We got a snowstorm that dumped over 3 feet of snow at once. Never in my lifetime did that happen where I live. Ever. The snow was coming down so heavily, it was amazing. I took photos of it. It just looks like white rain. All you see is just big, thick white streaks. That's how fast it was coming down. Anyways, I could never get caught up and afford to do this because of how much it was going to cost. I was going to have to hire someone, an electrician, a plumber, all this and that. So I had to live without it. And I could tell you in the wintertime, when you are washing your hands in the sink and that water comes out and it's -0 degrees outside or -2 or -10, it hurts. It's painful. It causes you could feel that cold go right through your hand to your bones. Not only that, I couldn't run a bath, obviously, and it would take way too much water to boil to do anything like that. So what I had to do was I had a little bucket about this big. I would have to boil water, dump it in the bucket, cool it off a little, take a sponge, and that's how I had to clean myself. It was a project. I mean, when something that should take me a few minutes, it would take me a long time. It was a pain in the ass, and it was, life. It was the quality of life wasn't as good, and it would take its toll on you living like that. I don't think people realize who do have hot water how amazing it is to have it, because we're just born with it. We have it all the time. But there are people in certain countries who don't have it, who got to do what I do. They take buckets or whatever and probably put it over a fire, and that's how they get boiling water. And that's what I had to do. I didn't have a fire, I had a stove, but, well, I did have a wood stove that I would boil water on also, but either way, you don't realize what you have until it's gone. And living a year and a half without it took its toll. It was a major piece of stress on me, wondering how to do it, what to do, the amount of research I put into it to figure out what's the most affordable way that I can do this, and then to finally figure out how can I do this myself without hiring anyone. First thing I did was I sold the water boiler. I knew that, as it turned out, the water boiler wasn't the problem. It was the lines in the ground. And the amount of money it was going to cost to replace those, not good. They were too jammed up. There was crap in the tank. The tank would have to be opened up and cleaned. It was all just bad. And the furnace itself was garbage anyways. It was the worst model you can buy. It was a cheap crap model. It was rotting away. It wasn't worth spending the money to fix it. So I ended up selling it for some money. I think I got $200 or $300 for it. And which was great, for something that could just be thrown away. But some guy who knows how to fix those things, he said it was a perfect candidate for what he needed it for, and so he paid me. So with the money, I was able to redo the room, clean it out, and I was able to do all the plumbing. What I decided to do was instant hot water, and it would have to be electric. No more oil. I don't have gas in the area, and I wasn't doing propane. So I decided electric, and for the size of my house, electric's perfect. It's not a lot of square footage here, and it's centralized too. The unit would be right next to the bathroom, right next to the kitchen, so there's not a lot of long run. It's really a good setup. So finally, I decided to just take a risk, take a chance. I had other bills that needed to be paid, but you know what? I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't live another day like this. So I ordered all the stuff, decided to do the electrical work myself. I figured out ways, I got creative, figured out, I didn't have any room in my panel, but I figured out how to create some I can't think of the word. A junction box. So I had a line out in front and a line out in back that really could just come together and be on the same circuit without a problem, and they weren't. Once I did that, freed up enough space, I was able to do this. This was about 2 months ago now. And I do the final work. I hit the breaker. I walk in the house. And there I see the red indicator light on the hot water unit. And I swear, I was like, oh! I knew that I was just moments away from hot water for the first time in a year and a half. Turned on all the sinks, and I watched them. And that's when I saw the steam coming out of the sink. This is the honest truth, I fell to the floor. It was a weird mix of emotions that I had never felt in my life. A mix of emotion of pure happiness and excitement. And at the same time, a release of stress. Of this stress of having this hang on me for so long. And then it was knowing that something good finally happened after a year and a half of nonsense. The next thing I had to do was check out the bathtub and the shower. Would I have hot water coming through the shower? Because the way my system works is, and I don't understand it, I had to look this up online, but basically the bathtub does not work unless it has both hot water and cold water lines coming to it. If it doesn't have both of those, there's not enough pressure and no water comes out. So I was hoping that was the kind of system I had, because when I removed the hot water boiler, the tub wouldn't work. No water came out. So I turn it on, nothing happens. So all of my joy starts going away. I shut it off, I turn it on again, I see a little dribble, and that little dribble became a stream, and next thing I know, I had a full-blown shower. I was exhausted that day, but that next morning I took my first shower, my first hot shower in a long time. And I cannot tell you the joy I felt. We don't realize when you, as people, and there's nothing wrong with this, when you live with something every day, you're used to it, it's a part of your life, but you don't realize how important it is until it's gone. You know, I never thought in my lifetime that I would get so emotional over something like hot water. But after a year and a half of living without it, it sucked. It just sucked, and life sucked. The quality of life sucked, and the stress that's on you, and how it weighs you down, and it's all you think about. And I've got other things to think about. I got to think about paying my mortgage and paying my other bills and trying to become successful here online. And it caused me anger, because I didn't lose my job because of something I did. I lost it because of sabotage, because of my former best friend, a person I had trusted almost more than really anybody else in my life. We should always look at everything we have and be grateful. I now have hot water. I feel a little better quality of life than I had. But I still know that there are people out there who don't have it. People who have to live like I lived. Maybe worse. People who have to boil hot water on bonfires or campfires just to have hot water. Maybe there are some people who don't even have clean water running through their home. At least I have that. So we should always be grateful for the things that we have, because you just never know. You just never know. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching the video. Click on the big red button to become a subscriber of my YouTube channel. And then click on the left side to go to my website. It's jam-packed with fantastic content and access to the very money-making opportunities I do every day.
You suck!
Shut it, Granny.
Bite my ass!